All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a formula for making content go viral. Now, this isn't just some theory, okay? It's a blueprint taken straight from a massively successful channel's playbook, and it is all about creating maximum psychological impact. So, yeah, let's dive right in. I want to kick things off with a question that, well, it kind of goes against everything we're taught as creators. What if the secret to truly powerful content has nothing to do with some random burst of creativity? What if it's not about that lightning in a bottle moment of inspiration, but instead it's something you can actually engineer, something based on the predictable, almost scientific patterns of the human mind? So to really get this blueprint, first we have to understand the problem it's designed to solve. And honestly, it's a challenge that pretty much every single creator out there runs into. You know the feeling, right? You pour your heart and soul into a piece of content. The information is solid, the message feels so urgent, and then crickets. It just lands with a thud, it doesn't grab anyone, no one's talking about it, and forget about getting shares. It just fails to make people feel anything. And that right there, that's the exact failure this whole code is built to prevent. The solution then is all about shifting your focus. You have to stop trying to just motivate your audience. Instead, this blueprint targets their deep, underlying psychology. The core idea here is something called psychological leverage. Look, this isn't about giving someone a temporary pep talk. No, it's about applying pressure to the fundamental things that actually control their behavior: their ego, their obsession with comfort, and their deep-seated fears. So, for example, a headline like, "The 5 Habits of Highly Motivated People," it's fine, but it's pretty weak. A psychologically leveraged headline would be something more like, "The 1 productive habit that's secretly killing your ambition." You feel that difference, right? The second one gets right under your skin. It challenges your ego and plants this little seed of fear like, wait, are my good intentions actually hurting me? That's what commands attention. Now here's where it gets really clever. This blueprint constantly uses contrast to create tension. It's always pitting these two mindsets against each other. So on one side, you've got the average person who just wants to feel motivated and stay comfortable. And on the other side, you have the wealthy mindset, which is all about leverage and thinking long term. By showing this clash, you create this internal conflict in the viewer, and it forces them to question which side they're really on. And this really shows you the specific buttons it's designed to push. The content is engineered to ask these really uncomfortable questions. It pokes at the viewer's ego, asking, hey, are you sure you're thinking about this the right way? It calls out their comfort zone, showing them how they avoid tough decisions. It taps directly into that universal fear of just being, well, average. And at the same time, it speaks to that deep desire we all have for more successful, more powerful identity. And that really is the question that separates just making stuff from actually making an impact. Okay, so how do you actually engineer this stuff? The first tool in the box is a really rigid storytelling structure. It's built for drama and for keeping people hooked. Let's break this down. Every story follows these 6 exact beats. You start with an emotional hook, you introduce a high-stakes crisis, you show the tough decision being made, and then, and this part is crucial, you show the public doubt that comes after. You show the turning point, where that decision pays off, and you wrap it up not with some fluffy, vague idea, but with a sharp, actionable lesson. So why does this work so well? Well, it's because it's basically hardwired into us. It taps into the most fundamental story we all know, the hero's journey. That crisis in doubt, that builds tension and makes us care, pulling us right into the story. The turning point gives us that satisfying release, and it makes the final lesson feel earned and totally unforgettable. And that really gets to the core philosophy here. See, the goal of this entire structure isn't just to make the audience feel good or hand them a simple checklist. It's to make them think differently. The whole point is to leave them chewing on a powerful question about their own life, their own career, their own choices. So, if that 6-part arc is your narrative tool, think of this next framework as your universal blueprint. You can use it to make literally any topic psychologically powerful. It's incredibly simple, and you can use it over and over again. Step 1, start with a problem that everyone gets. Step 2, don't just give some surface-level excuse. Expose the hidden psychological reason or the mindset that's actually causing the problem. And finally, step 3, give them a clear, practical, no-fluff solution. This 3-act structure is amazing because it takes the audience from a shared pain point to a huge aha moment of insight and then leaves them with a real sense of empowerment.
And let's be super clear about this because the source material really hammers this home. This is not a list of creative tips you can just pick and choose from. It is a disciplined, rigid architecture for influence. Its power comes from that structure and its absolute, unflinching focus on these psychological triggers.
So, we've broken down the blueprint. We've looked at the psychological triggers, we've seen the narrative structures. But the most important part of this whole thing isn't just about understanding how it works, it's about what you're going to do with it. We've laid it all out on the table for you. A clear blueprint for grabbing and holding attention, proven structures for telling stories that stick, and a universal understanding of the psychology that makes us all tick. This whole system is designed to influence the way people think. So the final question isn't for me, it's for you. A blueprint like this gives you the power to command attention and to force people to reflect. The only real question left is, what are you going to use it for? What change are you going to challenge your audience to make? What new identity will you help them build?